Hardships are a part of everyone's life. You deal with heartbreaks, financial instability, health issues, and a lot of other such issues. But the worst kind of loss is the loss of a child for parents. It is the hardest thing that the parents have to go through because of their ill fate. It's said that the hard times either break you or make you. You either get more deeply attached to your partner, or you break apart. What did the fate of Dean and Monica have in store for them after they lost their child to an accident? The couple has a life-lasting struggle to deal with. And Monica's sister, on the other hand, has something planned that will change the couple's life forever. Dean Birkenhoff and Monica lived in Willis, Texas. They were yet to tie the knot but had a little family of their own with 3 children, 2 sons and 1 daughter. The family was the most loving family, but one accident snatched all their happiness from them. On the 26th of June 2012, Dean and Monica experienced what was probably the biggest loss of their lives. Dean's eldest son, Colton James Birkenhoff, passed away in a freak accident and was taken away from them forever. The accident shattered the couple in ways that were unthinkable. They had never experienced the pain of such high intensity, and it was getting impossible to come out of the trauma that had been caused. Dean and Monica supported each other in this tough time and helped each other to overcome this tragic incident. In the process, the couple grew stronger together. They had been together for 3 years before the accident took place in 2012. After 2012, the life of Dean and Monica seemed like it had come to a halt. It took them a lot of time to forget what had happened. It was a sudden loss, and no parent would ever be ready for such a great loss. But they decided to move ahead for their children. After 7 years of the accident, Dean and Monica made a decision for themselves. They had been together for 10 years now, and this year, they decided to get married on the occasion of their 10th year anniversary. Everyone has a different definition of their perfect fairy tale wedding. For Dean and Monica, their perfect wedding was not the one with lights and pretty dresses and costly food, but the one where they could have their loved ones for their wedding day and be together. The couple decided on not some fancy venue for their big day, but to tie the knot legally at the county courthouse. But the day was not going to be what Monica and Dean would expect and plan it to go as. There were going to be some life-changing events. All the relatives that were invited by Monica and Dean were really happy that the two were finally going to tie the knot after being together for so many years. They had all prepared themselves to be a part of the special day and not miss it at any cost. The day had finally come after so many years when Dean and Monica would officially be together. All the guests were seated in the room and waiting for the bride and groom to come in. Nobody knew of the unimaginable surprise that was to follow. Everybody seemed happy about the ceremony, but there was a little sadness in each family member. All the seats of the courtroom were filled, but all of the guests felt a little emptiness, like something was missing. Dean and Monica decided to take a moment in remembrance of their late son, Carlton. Carlton would have been 18 years old this year if he would have been with his family. But destiny had other plans. Everybody missed him on this special day. Colton was full of life. He was always laughing, said Amanda McDonald, Colton's aunt, while remembering him on the wedding day. He was just the sweetest kid in the entire world. He loved football, and he loved the Houston Texans. After remembering the fond memories of Colton, the wedding ceremony continued. The show must go on, and the county judge continued with the rituals. Before going any further, he asked the usual question. The judge asked the crowd that was gathered if anyone had any objection from the marriage. Usually, this question is asked as nothing more than a formality. But this time, it was different and surprising for everyone. Monica's sister, Amanda, raised her hand. Out of all the people, why would Amanda have a problem with the wedding? She was the closest person to Monica. What objection could she possibly have? Amanda said that the wedding needs to be discontinued for now because there was someone who wanted to come in front of the guests. She told everyone that without that person, the wedding could not go ahead. Suddenly, Amanda looked in the direction of the entry door, and all eyes followed. Everyone was staring at the door, unaware of who was to come in from the other side. Suddenly, the door opened when there was silence in the courtroom. A guy walked in the courtroom. He was a stranger to everyone present in the courtroom. No one was able to recognize who the young gentleman was, but he kept on walking and reached straight towards the to-be-married couple. Everyone was confused about who was this stranger for whom Amanda had shouted to stop the marriage in between. Amanda introduced the gentleman, who was dressed in a green shirt and a black waistcoat with a tie. The guy was Travis Stufflebean. He had come all the way from Arkansas to Houston this morning specially for the wedding. When Travis came closer to the couple, Monica recognized him immediately and she was in tears. After Amanda gave full details of why she had paused the ceremony in between that way, every guest realized that the man was no stranger. In fact, he was family. And not just Monica's, but all eyes were filled with tears. Monica knew exactly who the person was and why he was so important. Just like family, she could not contain her emotions and broke down. She quickly reached out to Travis without thinking much and hugged him immediately, knowing she was hugging her son's heart. When Colton had died, Monica and Dean knew they could not bring back their son, so they decided to give life to someone else in need by donating his organs. Travis was the person who had got Colton's heart 7 years back. It was impossible that Colton could have been a part of his parents' wedding, so Amanda got the second best option that was possible for her to bring for her sister. Colton's heart was beating inside Travis' chest. Travis had also not come empty-handed. He had indeed got a very thoughtful gift with him, which would make everyone very emotional. It was the kind of gift that neither Monica nor Dean would have ever thought of receiving at their wedding. Travis put his hand in his pocket and took out a stethoscope from it. He wanted Monica and Dean to hear the heartbeat that belonged to their son. He placed the earpieces onto the couple one by one. To hear the heartbeat of their lost son on a day as special as their wedding was the best gift for Monica and Dean. And it was not only the couple that was emotionally broken down, but every individual in the courtroom. Travis was indeed a great and kind human to have thought so much for the couple. He knew he wanted to be a part of the wedding, because you're bringing the heart back home, Stufflebean said. To me, this is just a temporary heart. I'm just borrowing it. To me, this is where it belongs, with this wonderful and awesome family. Travis had been suffering from a weak heart since he was 3 years old, and he was put on the transplant list only 3 months before Colton's death and had been lucky enough to get a heart. It all started back in 1991. I was born with a bad heart, and all through my life I've dealt with open heart surgery, said Stufflebean. Amanda had put in a lot of effort to get Travis to the wedding. She wanted him to really be there. One thing led to another, and here we are, McDonald said. To our amazement and our shock and awe, he said, yes, we all fell in love with him. He's not just a guy that received a heart. He's a part of our family. No matter how much Monica and Dean would have planned their wedding, they could not have made it the amazing wedding that it had become because of Travis' presence. They had never thought they could have their son with them this way. Monica commented, it wasn't easy. It was a really hard decision to make because that's your family. That's someone you love. She continued, Colton is a hero. He's more of a hero than any person that I know. He saved more than just one life by donating his organs. The couple could not save Colton's life, but they decided they would save as many lives as would be possible for them. One of the lucky individuals to be saved because of Dean and Monica's son was Travis himself. Amanda and Monica had been really close to each other since childhood. They were the best of friends, so Amanda knew what would it exactly be that Monica would miss on her wedding, and she knew how to make up to it. By the decision of Dean and Monica to donate Colton's organs, Colton is remembered by a lot of people whose lives have been saved because of him. He is remembered in all parts of the country by a lot of lives, and forever will. By giving his heart to Travis, Colton will always be alive. He isn't present in the world, but then he also is. Colton's not here physically, but he's here, said Judge Wayne Mack, who married off Monica and Dean. Monica and Dean finally got married after being together for more than 10 years. They have seen the worst of each other and the best of each other, supporting each other through all the ups and downs, and will continue to do so. Monica, indeed, had the best wedding she could have ever dreamed of. For her, the best kind of marriage was when she could have all her loved ones under one roof, and indeed, she had everyone beside her on her special day, even Colton. Ever since Dean and Monica have been trying to keep Colton in their hearts and keep going ahead in life with their 2 children. They will never forget their ever-smiling son. But life goes on, and it stops for none. So friends, it's just a simple story that really makes you think. I hope you enjoyed it well. That's it for today. Rate this video, share it with your friends, and we'll see you next time.